Hi, I'm Mike Svob, and today I want to talk a little bit about what to take when you go out plein air painting or painting on location. Now, I've been doing this for 40 years, and I've tried numerous different things, and I've got some of the things here with me that I've used over the years, but I've found that every time I go out plein air painting, it's a little bit different, so I think it through each time and try to have the best experience I can to give me the best paintings I can. Now, what I have in front of me here is a really old standby that still works brilliantly. This is a French easel. It's been around for 100+ years. If you get a good one, like this one, I've been using this for 40 years and it still works fine. And it's been all over the world. It's been on flights, on trains, on planes, on buses, on boats, and you name it. And it's still hanging in there and it works like a charm. So I'm going to talk a little bit while I'm setting this thing up. And I want to just give you a little primer on how to set this thing up the easiest way, because you see people going crazy trying to set these things up, right? So this is the full box French easel, which is the proper name for this. There's a half box, a 3/4 box. There's smaller versions of this kind of thing. But anyway, they're quite similar. They pack up to a nice little unit. So what I do first is I flip it upside down. If you didn't know, this is the bottom. And if I'm doing this outside, I lay it on the ground so I can set the legs up first. And they pull out like this. There's the one in the middle. And you undo this here. Oh, you tighten that there, sorry. And this goes, I got it backwards, like that. Even though I've done it a million times. Okay, and then you have to tighten these guys up. So that's the middle leg. This one here, like that. Leg on the side. Put the leg out, tighten it up. One on the other side. Again, just make sure you tighten these guys up so when you stand it up, it doesn't all flop down and collapse. If you get the really cheap versions of these things break all the time. These are the original ones I've been using for 40 years. I've probably done, I don't know, 500, 1,000 paintings on this easel. It's been through windstorms and blizzards and you name it. There's a little slot that it fits into right there. There we go, make sure they're all tight. And then don't open it up until you turn it over. You flip it over, it goes this way, so the camera can see it. Then you undo the latches on this end. If you undo the latches ahead of time, the whole drawer will fall out. Undo the latches. It goes up like that. So this is where you're going to paint on this side. And you can put it on whatever angle you want. That's another nice thing about this. You know, you can go this way, that way. And you can do quite a large painting on this. So I tighten those up. And I'll just extend it out all the way. So that's the maximum size. That's at least 1 meter. And then you can go even farther the other way. Okay, and then this adjusts up or down so you can get it to the point where you want it, all right? This is a great easel. Inside, it has a drawer. You can see here, there's a drawer. And this is where most artists put their paint and stuff. And I quite often will stand in front of the easel on this side, and I'll actually have a little palette or put my palette on here. And then I've got access to the back. I can put my water here. I can fit all my brushes, all my paint when I'm going out painting on location. You really need a bucket or something separate to rinse in, but basically you can put everything you need in here. So that's probably the best easel for painting outside. And I'm just going to put that back here. The problem with that easel now is they won't let you take it when you fly. So if I'm driving or, you know, going on a boat or something like that, that's usually my first choice. Now, if I'm going to fly and I've got to put it in a suitcase, I use this easel here, and this folds up flat. And I've got it set up for oil painting right now. But, so it's got oil painting brushes, it's got a palette, it's got a bunch of stuff in it that I need, it's got drawers there, and this slides up and down, and you put your painting in there. That works great as well. Okay? Now that's probably 10 or 15 pounds. And for those of you who fly, you know you're paying for every suitcase. So every time that's 25, 50, 100 bucks. So what do? If you want to save a couple $100, you get an easel like this, which folds up completely into a little package. This probably only weighs, I don't know, 5 pounds. So you can put it in your carry-on even. It's small enough you can put it in your carry-on, and you don't have to worry about weight. The problem with this easel and any lightweight easel is they'll blow away in the wind. And I've had that happen many times. One of the first times I went over to Europe to Plein-air paint, I set up on the coast of England, set my easel up, turned around, and it went into the ocean. It was gone. It was, crazy. So I learned to have a heavier one. This is a heavier one. So, it's another version. But there's quite a few different versions of these easels, and they all work. All right, so that's the easel. There's a few other things you need to think about when you're going traveling or going to Plein-air paint, is if you want to sit down, I've got a nice stool here that folds up, and I've had many of these over the years. I bring this with me if I'm going to paint for any extended period of time. I'd rather stand, but I sit and stand. So this is just for sitting. So I usually bring something like that. If it's sunny and hot, I'll bring an umbrella. And there's a couple reasons for bringing an umbrella. One is to shade your painting, and the other is to shade you. So a hat, an umbrella if you need it. Now all the other stuff you bring along, obviously you need paint, you need a rinse bucket, you need your palette, you need whatever it is you want to bring. So I think through quite carefully my list, because when you get there, you want to have what you need because you're going to be a long way from home. So you make sure you got everything in your packing list before you go. I've had many, many experiences with artists, like being 1,000 miles from nowhere, and they get there and they forgot their paintbrushes, or they forgot this, or they forgot that. And that's when you learn how to paint with your hands, or how to rinse with seawater or things like that. But you want to have as much of your stuff with you and think it through according to where you're going as much as possible. One last thing I want to talk about, again, is flying, like taking stuff on the airplanes or through customs or whatever. Now, basically the rules are, as of now, with almost all the airlines and everywhere you go, you can take artist paints with you, paintbrushes, as long as you don't bring huge containers of paint. They won't give you a hard time. When you check in, when you go, you take your carry-on. They don't want you carrying paint onto the plane, so you put it in your luggage. And if it's just small tubes of artist paint, it's not a big deal. If it's big stuff, then you better tell them, because they're going to wonder what the heck you're doing with it. But in the end, they'll let you take paint as an artist, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. Some people think it's going to blow up in the plane, it's going to freeze in the plane, it's going to do all kinds of things like that. It doesn't do that, all right? The paint's going to be fine. They're going to let you take it through as long as you have small containers. Now, if I'm oil painting, some of you might be, but basically I'm doing mostly acrylics now. I don't take solvents with me. They won't let you take solvents. They're going to take them away from you, or you're going to get in trouble. You can't take aerosols, and you can't take large containers of paint, but you can take small ones. It's not a problem. Tubes of paint, they're happy with that. So you can bring all the other stuff you need. Just don't go crazy with the size of the paint. And when you go plein-air painting, take care of yourself as well. So make sure you're dressed. You got a hat. I hate bugs, so if I'm going somewhere where there's bugs, I take bug spray. I try to think through as much as I can what I need to be reasonably comfortable when I'm outside painting, okay? And I hope this helps you create paintings you love. I hope you found this information useful. Now, I have a handout called How to Fix Your Painting, and you can get it by clicking on the link below. Thank you for watching.